to thank all of you being with us today. It's a really great idea that Ms. Christine gathered all of us together today. She's always doing the right thing. And I feel so happy that I see these gentlemen and women. Most of you are academic professors, diplomats, and all of you have a different background, different information and ideas about your field. So for the starting, I would like to ask Dr. Serhang, President of Bayan University, with Ms. Christine to do the opening remarks. Then we will start our first session. Doctor, the floor is yours.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning if the time may be changed in another country. In the beginning, I would like thanks or hearty thanks to Ms. Christine and my colleague Dr. Mahdi with the collaboration with the Bayan University. Thank you very much, Ms. Christine, and thanks for your teams. You make it good programs to join with you. Inshallah, like sometimes I say, inshallah, for future we will make a good program we make together. And welcome everybody to this forum. Really, it is a good topic nowadays. Regional Strategic Forum on the Mediation and Diplomacy and Education. As a Bayan University, we have a special and scientific department of the international diplomacy and some professors, inshallah, we will join for the future programs with us. And thanks for all members and keynote speakers for this forum today. We will be very happy to make a point for our university with the collaboration with the IAMPE. In the end, we will be happy and thanks and many thanks for Ms. Christine and your colleagues and all members in our forum. Thank you very much. We will do the best for future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear President, Mr. President of Bayan University. It was really nice that hearing from you. Now I would like to ask Ms. Christine to present your speech for the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahdi. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished guests and excellencies, I will just, professors, colleagues around the globe, I will just start to greet in original language. I just train it. I will be honest, I trained it yesterday all night. So I will just Baher ben spas bo amadakumtan lem forma.
That's
if I
good.
say something correct. So ahlan wa sahlan wa shukran li hudurikum ma'am aliwan. And buenos días y muchas gracias por acompañaros hoy. It is a profound honor to welcome you today to the IAMPE, Bayan University Regional Strategic Forum on Mediation, Diplomacy and Education. On behalf of IAMPE, I would like to express sincere appreciation to Bayan University, our speakers, moderator, partners, participants joining us from different countries and professional backgrounds. Today's forum reflects something increasingly important in the modern world, the need to consider diplomacy. We are connecting diplomacy, education, and dialogue in a more practical and meaningful way. We are living in the time of rapid transformation, and these international relations are changing, education changing, we are changing, communication changing, and the challenges these facing societies today are becoming more interconnected than ever before. And in this environment, diplomacy can no longer remain limited only for public and to formal negotiation between states. So here we are. The modern diplomacy increasingly requires academic cooperation, intercultural understanding, and strategic communication, and the ability to build trust across institutions and societies. And this is where education becomes especially important. And today we want to speak about that. And the forum was created precisely to encourage such as exchange. And today we bring a lot of the experts from different disciplines and the regions, because we strongly believe that international cooperation becomes stronger when knowledge, education, professional dialogue work together. I would like to sincerely thank all our speakers from the beginning for contribution their expertise and professional perspectives to today's discussion. Your participation demonstrates that dialogue and education remain among the most important foundations for sustainable international engagement. And last but not least, I would like to thank again everyone and Mr. President, Dr. Mahdi, for the great moderation. And we hope this forum will not only provide meaningful discussion, but also inspire future academic cooperation, professional partnership. I will wish all participants a productive, successful forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Christine. If I am not mistaken, the first session will be held by Bayan University, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So also we have guest of honor, Dr. Huner. He will also, I guess he has a surgery at 5, Doctor. Am I right or wrong?
No. Speaking at 5.
Speaking at 5. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So now let's start with Ms. Sana. I would like her to talk about digital diplomacy. As you know, we have many types of diplomacies because diplomacy, as you know, nowadays is a very great subject. As you can see that there is a conflict everywhere. So we have a digital diplomacy will be by Ms. Sana. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let me first share my screen. I think I don't have access to share the screen. Can you change the setting, please?
No, its access is open. I see it yesterday. It's open. You can just share. Yes.
Is it visible from your side?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, my name is Sana Isam. I have master degree at computer science and specifically in AI and machine learning NLP. My role here among all these professors and high expertise is I'm very honored to be here, to be honest. I haven't thought about something like to be in that kind of forum. My role here is to talk about digital diplomacy and the global engagement. First of all, let me take to the roadmap I'm going to take today. First, we're going to start with the definition, the evolution, statecrafts in the cyber kind, and then I'm going to show some statistics of 2025 related to digital diplomacy. Then I'm going to focus on Iraq and specifically KRI and their statistics that are shared. Then what are the practical tools in digital diplomacy and why they are common here, then some cases and the future outlook. Digital diplomacy. First of all, digital diplomacy means like, unlike before or the traditional way, it's not only sending messages, sending letters, or waiting for the receiver to be received. Governments, embassies, and all the international organizations, they are now improving their images, their communications directly with people by having the platforms like social medias, X, the old Twitter, Facebook, and all the ways to be global audiences diplomacy. We can call it e-diplomacy, means electronic diplomacy, or diplomacy. Then cyber statecraft is another aspect of the digital diplomacy, protecting the national interests. We have cybersecurity, we have the protecting the information to be misinformation or misusing the information or sharing some false information, and public diplomacy directly from the governments to the people themselves. Some key facts of 2025. To be honest, I couldn't get the statistics of 2026 or the resources that share 2026 were not kind of reliable. So I tried to get 2025 because they were like more finalized. And I got 97 of the UN member states are active on social media for the diplomacy categories. 2.4 billion social medias. The social medias they are reaching now top of 50 foreign ministries. It's still from the USA, and more than 60 governments now they are using AI chatbots in public and digital diplomacy communications. The growth for government use of social platforms and social media and AIs now, it's if we compare from 2015 to 2025, it's like 10 years, but the growth is 3 and more than we have. So it's 340% more. Then if we show the statistics of Iraq and KRI regional digital, again, I couldn't get 2026, the correct and finalized statistic, but I could get from 2025. The population of Iraq is more than 48 million, and the one from Kurdistan is more than 6.8 million. So if we compare the population from them and we check the internet penetration in KRI, which leads to Iraq, Iraq's digital access, it's 78%. The KRI population under 30 years old, and they are digital natives, are 67, which is a very, I think, huge number of the people because they are under 30. And 12 universities in KRI, in disregard of the cities, they are potential digital diplomacy hubs, like the university we are in, and they are just prepared and they co-worked in this forum now we have. We have some challenges and opportunities. I want to start with the challenges for now, because despite the benefits and all the things, the good points, advantages we have in digital diplomacy, we have a lot of challenges in the digital diplomacy. The false information. Everyone can share information. Everyone can do whatever they can share. Everyone can have an account and pretend to be someone. So finding true informations among all of these information is not something hard. Cybersecurity threats. We know we have the wars, and then we have digital wars, because sorry, because the problem now is not only the digital sides we have. It's about how they can protect the informations. Maybe the informations can be taken, maybe it can be changed to be misused by people. And the online conflicts, the aggressive posts, they can damage international relations. We can see this in practical. I don't want to talk about politician way, but this is practically, we see everyone can tweet, everyone can say whatever you want. There is no rules for sending and sharing information from them. But something else here is not all the countries can have this, they like having the same access for technology. Here in Iraq, maybe we don't have any issue for accessing all kinds of technology. We can use any kind of platform we want. We can access TikTok, Facebook, all the other social networking or social platforms. But some countries, even around Iraq, they don't have the same access. So this even comes with misinformation. And the opportunities here we use for digital diplomacy are very, very huge. I cannot talk about all of them, but the more important one is that makes the communication between people, between the governments to people, between public to public, public to private people, directly to the people becomes very, very easier. The digital diplomacy growth trends are 65 video diplomacy adoption in 2020. It's up to from 35% due to COVID. You know, COVID was like an evolution of technology and digital diplomacies. Before that, people used, but they didn't use as a spare. They used as a spare, but after COVID, it was like a great evolution. Then if we check the AI tools adoption since 2020, 2022, it was before COVID, it was 38% in 3 years, but then it becomes 67%. So growth to 38%. And 100 projected social media adopted by UN members it can be in 2027. So the prediction for the projected social media diplomacy is 100%.
I think we have a bad connection. I mean, she has a bad connection. We are fine. Still waiting.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. It's usual. I think we lost her, maybe. It's fine. It's fine. I will start with education diplomacy until she is getting back. Let's not waste time. I would like to start with the famous quote of Winston Churchill. I think it's you know about it. Most of you may hear it or read it. Winston Churchill says about diplomacy, he said, "Diplomacy is the art of telling people go to hell in such a way that they ask for a direction." So diplomacy usually famous with the soft power. So asking people go to hell in a very nice way in order not to negotiate you why we need to go to the hell. They just ask for a direction because you ask them in a very nice way, in a very nice, polite way. I think she is back. I made them busy until you came back. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. You can finish.
This is another challenge for digital diplomacy. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Let me share. Is it shared now? My screen is shared? Okay, thank you. Okay. Then I got the point to have some global case studies that happened, for example, in United States. The diplomacy is another term for diplomacy, but it's like digital platforms of using in diplomacy. They use ex-policy announcements, crisis in communications. They are using the X for awareness information. UAE, the United, I don't know, Emirat, the Smart Embassy Network. They are now deploying blockchain for treaty verification or some AIs in most of the events they have. United Kingdom, the digital diplomacy program with FCDO AI, they are handling thousands of consular queries. So we see that most of them are using AI with the technology and for the communication sectors. The global studies in Jordan, the original digital bridge, they are running multi-language campaigns like the one Ms. Kristen used here for the English. Or Brazil, the academic diplomacy, they are the ones are scale. They connect the students, thousands of students in virtual summits. Let me tell you what's virtual. For example, there's a teacher, he's professor, he has expertise in a module, and you want to be at your university, but he's also a professor and teaching at a university in UK. So there is a device called a technology called virtual. There will be a device from his side in UK and another device, the other part of the device from our university here. We don't have, but I'm telling you how the device is working. The teacher in UK explains everything, going around to the students, going to the board, maybe writing something. The same thing, the same environment of the teacher is showing here with lights. The device shows the teacher even moving around. Last time a university here, they wanted to be afforded, and I think the price was like $115,000, something like that. In Estonia, the digital embassy state, the world's first digital embassy, it's the world's digital embassy in Luxembourg. The digital dilemma, the old one versus the new one. At the traditional ways, it was they are sending strongly wounded a lot of pages via diplomatic poach, and they had to protect that people to be sent and received insecure. But now they can send or post 28 characters at 3 fair emojis. It's like the text and the way for writing is being changed. The book flights, they booked for any meeting, but now, just like now in different countries, different time zones, we just open Zooms and we forget maybe unmute for 4 minutes, or this thing happens to me. The issue in the traditional ways without being converting to digital was the formal communication. Maybe they couldn't get the answer after a long time, but now they just like the post and maybe it's gonna change something. The cables for encrypting and decryption was an issue, but now encryption and decryption of the social media has a problem, because maybe we have a term in cybersecurity called the man in the middle, or we can call it, it's done by the black hackers. They can get the information which is sent from for example, or from somebody to another one. In between, they can get the information and decrypt the data to see how it's going on, because we know any information from the internet which is sent it, they are encrypted, then decrypted from the other side. We have a lot of recommendations to see from the futures to become more digital to the universities. We can have online courses on social media, statecrafts. We can have the launching the digital diplomats in the KRI. We can build cybersecurity capacity. It's a very new field, and becomes very popular so fast. Because if you have something, you need to have a way to protect it. So it's all done by the cybersecurity. We can activate the diaspora networks, empowering the people here, especially our Kurds, to the citizen diplomats in online. We can create some strategy contents, multilingual. not only Kurdish to English or Arabic, we can have more languages, more languages that people talk, like, for example, for Spain, maybe. Thank you so much. It was, again, a great honor to be with you all. Me having nothing like, not a good expert, not a good information, but among all these professors was a very nice experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Dr. Mahdi, you will be second.
Yes.
Okay, before you will start.
Okay.
Slowly. I have to introduce you. So you will start, but our participant don't know who you are.
It will be great if you do so. Thank you.
Okay, I will do my best. So I will just start. What kind of quote reminds me closer to your dedication and your work is just justice and knowledge are the foundation of a strong society and the person. So these words exactly resonate with your job and your work and in education, the government, and because you have a lot of responsibilities and you are doing institutional development. So our next speaker, you're witnessing him, is Dr. Mahdi Sheikh Kalyani. He's academic and legal professional specialized in the law, governance, and legal education. His work focuses on, I think, international relations, such a kind of different field of law, and the government frameworks within the Iraqi and Kurdistan region governmental legal system. So his academic and professional engagement, he contributes to the development of the legal awareness. Please join me. We warm welcome to the Dr. Mahdi. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Christine. It was very kind of you. I'm really honored and pleased to be among all of you. Actually, it's a great pleasure to have a chance to be with you today. Education diplomacy is a new is a brand of diplomacy as well. Many countries, especially UK, China, Europe, they try their best to do the exchange of students all around the globe in order to get new skills, new knowledge, and in order to have a cultural diplomacy. As you know, students of today, leaders of tomorrow. So education diplomacy is very important. We can say that the use of education for diplomacy, such as universities, scholarships, academic exchange, research partnerships, all these things, and cultural learning programs, these are all belong to educational diplomacy. The subject is very important. I'm not telling that it's a significant subject because we are working in this field. I'm telling you this because we all have many examples about that. The King of Jordan was a student in London, if I'm not mistaken, in the UK or in the US. And we have a Prince of Kurdistan. He just graduated in the UK. The Prime Minister of Kurdistan graduated in the USA. So many other examples that we have. So in order to have a clear vision about a country, especially if this country is your allies, the best way is to exchange students with this country. So once you exchange your students between these countries, you will have a very clear vision and knowledge about what is the culture of this country. And in order to have a very strong... Yes.
I interrupted you, Dr. Sarang. Also obtained MSc and PhD in French.
In France. So this is our president. Also, we have an example that he graduated in Paris, if I'm not mistaken. So this exchange of leadership. So he is trying very hard to apply the developments that he saw in France, to apply them in Erbil, in Kurdistan. These examples are very important. This exchange of cultural learning is very important. It's one of the types of diplomacy. So when they became a diplomat, they became a ministers, they became, for example, a foreign minister, they know how to deal with the European countries and with the other countries. In case of allies, in case of enemies, for example, a country who you have a conflict with, it's very important to know about their culture, their background, their strengthening point and the weakness point. So in all cases, exchanging students between universities is very important. It's something that we can call it very significant for promoting the relationship between countries. I can mention some goals that they are really important for education diplomacy. First one, improving international relations. If I talk about myself, for example, as an example, I studied in London. Still, I have a very strong connection with scholars, professors, with some governmental departments in London. Once in my country there is something we need to do, they will send me there because I have the knowledge and background, the idea, information. I know how they act. I know how they behave. I know what kind of attitude is good when I am with them. Although it's very obvious for all of you that we need to work through the protocols, that it's written and it's there for international worldwide, but sometimes a specific idea about a place, a city or a country is very important to know. So building a mutual understanding between cultures. These cultures are very important if we build a mutual understanding, and then we can build a mutual beneficiary for both countries. For example, if I want something from the UK, I need to do it I need to ask it in a way that it will be beneficial for them before having beneficial for my country. As you know, we live in a world right now, it's full of conflicts, tensions, even war. The best example is now Israel, USA, and Iran. As the Middle East and MENA countries, we are all affected by these conflicts, economically, mentally, in a very, they disrupted peace in these Middle East. If you go back to the root of this question, to the root of these problems, you can see that it's some of them related to the economic issues, and some of them are ideological issues. Some of them are countries wants to potentially protect their people from not having, from not letting an enemy country have a nuclear weapon. So afraid of using it to destroy their nations. They have right, all of them. So the conflict starts when you have a different ideology. The conflict starts when you have a different mutual understanding. The conflict starts when you have different ideas about how the peacemakers work. So the main job of United Nations, as you all know, is maintain peace and security. Unfortunately, United Nations couldn't do these two jobs in a very easy way. He faces a lot of problems. Maybe it's about the structure, maybe the structure of UN when one country in these five, one US, UK, Russia, France, and UK, US, Russia, France, who was the first, the five member of the United Nations. So one of them, when they use a veto, United Nations cannot do anything about it. So he couldn't stop the war in Gaza, in Palestine. They couldn't stop a war in the Iran and USA. So these problems still exist. While the problem, the tension, the issue in the world exists, we need a diplomacy in a very strong way. We need to teach our students, we need to teach our people, diplomats, to use soft power, to try to find the commonalities among all these problems that we have in the Middle East. Especially, I'm talking about Middle East because as long as I remember, I got 44, my age. As long as I remember, we live in the war, tensions, problems, economic crisis. Whatever happens is it's all about war, conflicts, and we live it in these kind of situations always. So the diplomacy is the best solution. Diplomacy is the best way to avoid war, is the best way to prevent a war. But for that, we need a very good diplomats. We need a diplomats that they believe in human rights. We need a diplomats that they believe in the peace and security for all. This is what we need. So another goal of education diplomacy is promoting peace and cooperation between nations, between countries. This is what education diplomacy wants to do, extending scientific and academic collaborations. Through the collaboration, promoting between, for example, two universities, the student, when you send them abroad, it's like a bird. When you send it somewhere else, they became in love with this country. For example, if I talk about myself, every year I go back to the UK. I just miss it. At the beginning, when I started my study in the UK, I've got a homesick. It was very hard for me first month. Then I adapted to their culture. I found new friends, and then I loved London. And it's not for me, for all the students. It was very nice. Then when I go to the UK, I miss Erbil. When I come back to the Erbil, I miss UK. I would like to visit every year and see the cafes, restaurants, the places that I have been there before. So this makes you love the other countries. It makes you love the people of this country. So you never do bad for this country. You never do something wrong with the people of this country. This is what student exchange is important for. Also, we have another example of improving and promoting diplomacy is international academic conferences and educational partnerships. Like the one now Christine does is very important, really. So she gathered most of us in a different countries, different background, different ideology, different ethnics, to talk about peace and security, to talk about diplomacy and mediation, how we can provide, how we can help support peace and diplomacy everywhere, how we can negotiate, how we can build a trust and a good path towards the future. This is what diplomacy needs. This is what policymakers need to put in their agendas. So, how countries can use educational diplomacy? For example, countries often invite foreign students to study at their university, at their country, and when they graduate, they became either diplomats, ministers, business leaders. Also, they became academics or policymakers. So these are mutual beneficiary for all countries. If I am not mistaken, we have thousands of students. They studied abroad in the UK, US, in all other countries. Also, we have diplomat and educational protocol course in the Korea. China nowadays, because they are trying to build initiative, the Silky Road. So those countries who became on the border of Silky Road, they invite employees and scholars and students to go to their countries to study about these improvements that China have. So they, for example, I have been in China twice. Once delegated by the Ministry of Interior, and the other one I have been invited by the consul, His Excellency Consul General of China. I had a different background and ideology and thinking about China. But when I visited there, when I see the people of China, because we heard from the news and from the other side that China is aggressive and they are trying to take over the world economically and blah, blah. But once I got there personally, I saw the people, I saw their institutions, I saw their public sector. We met with the officials. We knew that they just want to improve their country. They are not against any other countries. So just by going there twice, my mind and my thinking, my idea changed about China in a very good way, in a very positive way. Same thing with the Europe, with Germany, with Korea, all these countries. Once you visit, you see something very beautiful in their culture. You love the people, you love the country, and then once you became an official, governmental official or a diplomat to these countries, you never do something that harm these beautiful people. You never do that. You will always try to find a way to support them. So I don't want to take long. I think I have a few minutes left. So we can say that using education to create international friendship, influence, cooperation, and long-term partnership. It's a simple, very simple definition of education diplomacy. Also, I would like to add one more point, and then I will ask my colleague, Dr. Huner, to talk about his subject. One more point is very important in diplomacy and mediation, which is we need to follow the rules that we have. There are united protocol rules for diplomacy, and there are, in each countries, they have a different habit and background. So when you are delegated to a country, before going there, you need to know how to act with them. You need to know how to wear your clothes in this country. You need to respect their traditional clothes, foods, eating, and everything. And you need to know when you start talking and when you start listening. It's very important to listen more. It's very important to be specific once you answer their questions. It's very important to find commonalities among all the issues and different ideologies and different problems that we already have in this world, unfortunately. So let's do these kind of forums. Let's make it more developed. Let's do a conference. Let's try our best to maintain peace and diplomacy everywhere. Thank you for your attention. We will take Dr. Huner, and then after that, if you have any questions for the three of us, feel free to ask. Yes, Dr. Huner, the floor is yours.
You can hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Mahdi, and thank you, Christina, for this opportunity to talking about this important. It's really very important thing nowadays about diplomacy and meditation and education. So this first of all, I'm Dr. Hunar, plastic surgeon. I have board certified. I'm board certified in the plastic surgery. I have Egyptian fellowship. That means I study abroad. And as Dr. Mahdi talk about studying abroad and the diplomacy of education is very, very important. Really, I have very benefit in this opportunity that I have in Egypt and learning something that may I don't learn if I don't go to Egypt. And so these things. As the first looking, someone may say, why a plastic surgeon? And talking about this thing, like diplomacy and meditation and education, but the surgery, it's not all about the aesthetic, and it's about the reconstruction and the burn and congenital anomaly treating. And when we talk about the organization that arranging this meeting, it's international organization of the lawyers. So the connection between the medicine and the surgery and the and this organization is very deeply connected. So it's about the law and diplomacy and medicine and the health of the people. So as my experience in the field of the surgery and dealing with the reconstruction and burning and most of the dealing of treating of the drug dealers and making the law issues in this field, I see that the diplomacy in this field is very, very important in building bridges and advancing dialogues and empowering education in this field. In Iraq, and as I'm in Erbil in Kurdistan, we saw very challenges and we saw very bad things happen in this area, like wars, like we have too many injured person, too many persons having disabilities, and all of these need to be treated, to be preparing for the community and to have his life and his dignity and to become prepared to have education and looking forward. So at this situation, we all need to connect between the reconstructive surgery and making a way of building bridges for diplomacy between all the nations. The dealing with the injured person is not only on this person or on this family, and it's not only deal with the doctor. It is a worldwide issue. So making an organization that containing many doctors from everywhere in the world, like in America and Iraq and Egypt and anywhere, it's very, very important thing, and it is a very diplomatical way to be the beginning of making bridge of diplomacy between all the nations. So, and this situation, it is very, very important when a person that have a problem in Iraq that will be treated in another country, anytime it will become a very good diplomatic way and making a good bridge between these nations and these countries. And I feel and I saw this thing when I treat many patients in other areas and in other cities in the Iraq freely, like in Bayan and in Conjuntal Omani. Most of them, they have bad wounds or bad disease that causes too much money that the person can't afford it, and we do it for free. It will become a very, very good way to make a bridge between the doctor and the patient. In another way, when there's another international community or international forum for that, it will become very, very important. And this situation, we need two things. The first thing is a diplomacy between the nations and the digital way to connect between these doctors and the lawyers all over the world, because the issue of the surgery is not just a medicine. Really, it is a medical, surgical, and legal issue, because all of these are connected together. And Dr. Mahdi really have so many experience in this field, as he did with me, because really the plastic surgery is a very, very important thing in this time that everyone need it, not as an aesthetic really, and sometimes for persons to go inside the community and inside the society. Some persons, they have so damaged facial problem that he cannot go to meet persons and to go to study. When we do this treatment, it will become a very, very important thing in his life. So about the medical issue, it's obvious that everyone in the world that need treatment or need an important treatment in the case of disaster like a war or a burn or something like that, it need a medical assistant from anywhere from the world. It's not only local issue. This diplomacy, this committee or this group of the surgeons and the lawyers, it will become very, very important for everyone in the world. Sometimes the burn or sometimes the disaster occur in a place, the country can't afford it. So another country will help this country. So why we let this upon the countries? Why we don't have another community and a digital network between all the doctors and all the lawyers in the worldwide countries to manage this situation? And the medical and educational, preventing legal conflicts is a very important thing, as we know that the plastic surgery, as we know the medicine, not only the surgery, and the medicine, in the most of the countries now become a business part. So sometimes there will be two very important issues will face the patients and the surgeons, that most of the centers or the clinics sometimes running by not certified or a fake persons that may harm the patients and harm the society and the doctors also. So making a legal and a medical organization will help to minimize this problem, that in this time we see that the diplomacy and the education and the digitalizing this issue is very, very important, because sometimes one person and one group cannot stand for this big issue. And mostly in our country, maybe as I see, and also in Egypt, and also I see in Turkey, and also in many countries, I see that this is a problem, and there is no any other organization or any connection found to stand for this problem. And it's not a simple problem. It is a very big problem, because in the future, this become like the drug dealers. So for just making money, there will be like an organization for doing wrong things and making a problem for the society. And also, this legislations and medical prevention can also, by doing seminars and conferences everywhere in the world for education, and to make a standardized form of studying in the field of the studying, either in plastic surgery, in medicines, in every branch of education, that becomes standardized and strict form, not everywhere making a standard for him on studying something like become the strict, unique, and unite form of studying of all branches. We're talking about big issues, really. The globalized problems, it's not a personal or country or regional problems, like as I deal sometime with some patients in the disaster, or in the somehow, as my job, in drug dealers. So those persons now cannot be treated in a localized way. Must be there will be a digital learning and a standard way of learning, and globalizing the system of education in this field. So empowering medical education and enforcing the standardization is very, very important thing that need a global organization. As I said, most of the illegal issues are not a personal issue, are not a randomized issue. Most of them are powered by persons have power or money, or maybe a political background. So the simple persons, or the patients, or the doctors cannot fight in this country. The person in his country sometimes cannot face these problems. So the diplomatic way of collecting persons in the same region or the same area of the field of the work, it is very, very important thing. It is not just by talking about the diplomacy as something dramatic or imagination. It is really an important thing nowadays in the world, because of the globalization that occur. Everyone now can connect from anyone, anywhere in the world. So the missing thing is that organizing the persons, not a problem now. I can talk with a person in America, in the UK, and anywhere in the world is not a problem. The problem of the collecting, like Christina and Dr. Mahdi now collecting us in this group, it's a very important thing. It needs effort, it needs time, it needs many things, but at the end, it becomes beginning of something great. So everyone now have information, especially the specialized person in the field. But how we can make this helping the community, helping the country, helping our friends in other branches to managing the problem. Talking about the problem is not solving the problem. How we treating the problem is very important. So it need effort, it need time, it need sometimes it need money, it need anything, but at the end will become a very good and a very fruitful thing. So we talk about the empowering medical education or empowering education. The standardizing form of the education is very, very important. When we talk about the law, there is something that is standardized for studying law in every country. And when we talk about the like plastic surgery, as I study in another country, not my country, which is Iraq. I study a doctorate or the board or fellowship in Egypt. So what I see in Egypt, that the law of working in this field is like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I go to Turkey and work sometime there, and the law is same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I go to Jordan and to Iran and to other, so there is a law specific form of studying, because this is an specific branch. When I come to Iraq, I see something different. I think that I see that there is wrong things happen. How I treat this, it's not upon to me and I go to treat this. I must have these three things that you mentioned, which is diplomacy, meditation, and education, and digitalization, as my friend talked about. So by this way, we must have a standardized way to studying and to preventing happening problems in the future. So at the end, I will want to end my talk about this to thinking about making the diplomacy. The diplomacy is the way to treating things in the future, not by treating things as a single simple things. No, because for the globalization and international ways and presenting of many social ways to connection, the time is now very, very good to making globalized organizations in every way, in every simple branches and ways of education. Thank you, everyone. And if anyone have question on my talking,
Thank you, dear doctor. Thank you for your valuable words. Now I would ask Ms. Christine to take the QA, because you know everyone here, you know the names, and until we do later, then we will do this. So now the floor is yours. If anyone has a question about the three of us, Ms. Sana, Dr. Huner, and Dr. Mehdi, please feel free to ask. Ms. Christine, please, you take the...
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahdi. Thank you very much, Dr. Huner. It was really insightful. The medicine, the diplomatic medicine, the sphere is, this niche is just under development. And actually, we will speak about that more and more in our future conferences and the forums. And we will investigate how can we cooperate the lawyers, diplomats, peacemakers, and the government representatives, policymakers, and to help the doctors and everything like versa. Yes, because they will help us, we will help them. So I will have the question from dear professor from Peru, Freddy, please. You have a question?
Yes, thank you very much for giving me the floor. I want to thank to the university, to IAMPE for this invitation. And it's very interesting, and I congratulate Dr. Mahdi, Professor Mahdi, by his presentation. Really very nice, very good, very interesting. I have understood that in East Asia, especially in Korea and China, they are giving a very good experience on mediation for the new generations. But I want to ask him about Europe. What is happening with the piece of culture in Europe and the other countries around the world? I came from Latin America, but I am from Japanese ancestry. My grandparents came since Japan. I have lived in Japan too. And I can see that if the leaders don't show the peace culture in his or her daily activities, that war means nothing, because the example of every day, the culture that we show every day, is the most important route for the peace culture. Because if you speak only, give good speeches around the globe by everywhere, as the United States leaders or Israel leaders who speaks about peace but don't practice peace, we can see that there is a vacuum. We are speaking only for the air. We are not speaking for the form and create new societies of peace. And by that, I see that China is doing something very correct, because its society is showing the peace in theory and practice. Korea maybe in some way is doing the same. But I want to ask you about Europe. About Europe, is Europe doing something about this in peace culture? And there is a good relationship between the leadership of Europeans and the peace culture with young societies. In the United States, what's happening? There is something of similarity between peace culture for the young generations and the attitude and good example of the government. And that is my question. And once again,
Thank you.
congratulations, Dr. Mahdi.
Thank you, Mr. Freddy. I will answer your question, but before that, let's go to Dr. Serhang. He's raising his hand, and thank you for the very important question. I forget to talk about Europe, and I have experience, and I will talk about it now. Let's, Dr. Serhang, please, if you have anything to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think every one of you think about my point. You know, it is very, very important mediation in diplomacy. So my question it is, what is the main programs we make good actors for how to be a good mediator in diplomacy? You know, it is very, very important if we have diplomacy and we have education about that, and all the student or everybody take this information about diplomacy in education. So what is the main point or main good programs we make for a good mediator? Yani how to be a good mediator or actors to for future or for nowadays, for everything. If you look at in Middle East, we need some actors role of actors in diplomacy and in mediation in diplomacy. So I think it is very, very important. Without we have government or any policy, what is the main programs we make to be a good mediators and to be a good actors in diplomacy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, dear doctor. And I will answer Mr. Freddy, and Christine, you will answer Dr. Serhang. As you have expertise in mediation, so you will answer him. The question about diplomacy in Europe, it was really good question. Thank you for that. I forget to talk about this part. I have been delegated to Germany as a representative of Ministry of Interior. Once we get to Germany, they were at the airport, and then we went to the hotel. They gave me an agenda for the meeting. It was 3 days meeting. They gave me the agenda, how we start, and then the lady who was in charge of the protocol, she asked me. She said, "Doctor, do you know how we can we go to the meeting room? We need to wear formal and this stuff, and for the breakfast, what's your cultural food you like to be added in the menu? And then after meeting, we will have lunch together. What kind of food do you like? And is it possible that we put wine, champagne, and this stuff for the dinner, or it's not allowed by your side? And what kind of meat is allowed to be eaten? What kinds not allowed? Please tell me something about your culture, how we greet you in the beginning, and how we can do like that." So we have a like 30-minute chat. We spoke in the lobby of the hotel. We talked about each other's culture in order to understand what's on us to say there and what they expect from us. And then she told me many important things, that once you have a demand in a very diplomatic way, how to ask for it. And then once they have a demand, if we don't have answer for it, what we should do, what we should say. German, they are very well organized. They really care about this stuff, and this is for all Europe. Also, we had another delegation to Italy. I met with the Ministry of Interior of Italy, and then he asked me. He said, "I would like to come to Kurdistan, and I would like to meet Prime Minister of Kurdistan." I said, "Now I can say yes for you to be delivered by the Ministry of Interior. He will come to the airport to deliver, to meet you in person. I can say that he will be available for you. He will meet you. But for Prime Minister, I need to check and then get back to you." He said, "Take your time. How many days you are here?" I said, 3. We were 4 people. And then after that, I spoke with the Ministry of Interior of Kurdistan. I said, the Minister of Interior, they call it Carabinieri. They want to meet with the Prime Minister. At that time, Prime Minister of Kurdistan was Mr. Nechirvan Barzani. Now he is the President of Kurdistan. And then the Minister of Interior told me, "Okay, I will get back to you in 1 or 2 hours." And then he answered, he said, "Yes, we will warmly welcome him, and he can meet me and the Prime Minister." So the day after, when we met him, I gave him the answer that yes, definitely he is very welcome to Kurdistan, and he will be received by Prime Minister of Kurdistan. He will meet him at his office. So they ask for it in a very polite, nice way. And also, I asked him, I said, "Sir, can I have the idea of your visit?" is it just a friendship visit, cultural visit, or is a political way? So he gave me a letter. It was, I mean, I can't share it with you now, but I gave them back to Kurdistan. I bring them back to Kurdistan. I gave them to the authorities, and then he came. We received him as we planned for. So Europe, they are very organized. They are very organized in a protocol. They are very organized. Even like sitting, they ask for who is higher rank. They will put you in a position, and they put names with that. One of our delegates at the first day, his name is General Herish. He was with us. He said, he told them, where is the flag of Kurdistan? They put Iraqi flag on the table, and he said, where is the flag of Kurdistan? If the tomorrow's meeting is the same, I can't see the flag, I will leave the room. I won't be attending this meeting room. They apologized, and during the meeting, they brought another flag. They put it with the Iraqi flag. So they put Iraqi and Kurdistan regional flag together. So they would like to know about our culture, like Europe in general. They would like to know about it before going to any meetings, any official meetings. These two situations were my experience personally. I saw this and I liked it really. They are very respectful and they follow specific procedures and rules in regards of protocol. Thank you for the question. Ms. Christine, the question of President of Bayan University, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. I will just answer because it's my topic, and I'm too in it. In generally, will not go specific. We can share after, but in general, we believe that the development of the diplomatic mediation or mediation diplomacy should begin through the regional education first, and gradually expand to the global level. It can come from the global level to the region. We are starting region by region, and we are expanding to the global. The first step is building the strong academic institutional foundations. Exactly what we want to start from. The detailed education programs, which we have, our organization, the professional trainings, starting from short, expanding to the 100 is huge, to maybe in MA, the practical simulations, the research centers, they are like we call the training, the professional diplomatic training labs, and the cooperation between universities, because it can't be only based on one university. When you are starting from one university, you have to connect another one, because we have to connect the whole region. And the governments itself, international organizations like actors, we are the public actors, NGOs, and the diplomatic mediation cannot develop only theoretically. And we are working, for us, it's important practical aspects. It requires the systematic study, intercultural practice, and real dialogue platforms. You're not just simulating something, you're bringing real cases and try to investigate how you can solve with the students. At the regional level, it's important to divide, like unite universities, as I said, open some centers, exactly professional labs, include some policy members, diplomats. Why? I truly believe that we need to train in government representatives as well. This is important. And the civil society's actors, because everything starts, it's a hierarchy. We will move not from, ground. We have to start from, because they have to be our teachers, not we. And they create the regional forums, trainings, what we are doing now. They will develop the educational standards, adapting the culture and geopolitical realities. And also we need to encourage youth participation. this is absolutely like we are doing it with IMDC. Actually, we are encouraging them to training them to step on these mediation diplomacy paths and to do professional exchanges. At the global level, I would like to focus on the international academic partnership. When we are fixing on one region or one country, and it can be fixed strongly, then after that, you are uniting and with academic partnership, expanding yourself slowly, globally. It can be done, let's say, for example, Iraq, and after we can move to the neighborhoods, and after we moved, it's a Middle East. And Middle East will connect with Europe. Europe will connect Caucasus. Caucasus will connect Asia. And so it's move on and move on. And it's what it's doing in finding ethical and educational frameworks. Because each of the students in your university as well, they have a own psychological, ethical backgrounds, and they will bring something on the table. Of course, without AI, and Ms. Sana, I would like to say thank you. Just you mentioned about the digital diplomacy. Without mediation diplomacy is coming across one by one with a line with digital diplomacy, with environmental diplomacy, everything is working together. So AI and digital diplomacy is crucial, and I think coordination with the organizations, the public actors. From my perspective, I will just the future of diplomatic mediation. It depends on the long-term educational investment. It is investment, and it's really will be really good investment. Why? Well, maybe in 5 years, even in 1 year, you can see the results. And it's like interdisciplinary collaborations. And so mediator diplomats is a speciality which will be capable work and represent each of the country. We don't need to find some diplomats who have to study a lot, or maybe we're not so much having in the regional, in the small countries, so much diplomats who is capable to work as a mediator. So I do believe I answer it on your question.
Thank you, Christine. Ask if they have any other questions.
If someone have a question, if not, we will just smoothly move to the speaker. And I don't see any questions, so we can move. Even though we will have it, I will just at the end I will ask. Thank you very much, Ms. President, for your question. So the second speaker, I will just start with in Spanish language. And I will say, donde hay dignidad, nace la esperanza. These words reflect the importance of the humanity, justice, social responsibility, and protecting vulnerability as a communities and promoting the human rights. I think closer, as somebody will, if know that Dr. Araceli Perez Sanchez, you will understand that I exactly want to honor and introduce her as the next speaker. Human rights advocate, the conflict resolution specialist with extensive experience in mediation, arbitration, negotiation, facilitation, protection of the gender communities. She is an expert in the indigenous law, and particularly he is the ambassador of IAMPE in Latin America, and he is protecting children affected by abuse in Ecuador. She is the founder of Jurisdicción and Fundación Sol de Esperanza. She's actually working in the field of the human rights, women's rights, and previously, as I know, she have been the women in army. I don't know her regalias exactly the more as she is a captain or mayor, but please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Araceli Perez Sanchez from Ecuador. Hola, Araceli.
Hola, muy buenos días. Good morning, good morning. Muchas gracias la siempre la acogida y la presentación, querida Cristín. Permítame compartir pantalla, por favor.
Yes. As I see Juan Fernando, yeah. Hola, I think you have a permission, you can share.
Juan
Yes,
Fernando,
please,
presente la presentación.
yes.
Yes.
Ok, para iniciar, la gestión del conflicto no define únicamente la calidad de nuestras decisiones, sino la civilización de nuestras sociedades. En un mundo de conflictos donde los conflictos son inevitables, la diferencia entre la ruptura y la paz es la ausencia del problema, sino la calidad de la herramienta con la que decidimos enfrentarlo.
The conflict management defines not only the quality of our decisions, but also the level of civilization of our societies. In a world where conflicts are inevitable, the difference between rupture and peace lies not in the absence of the problem, but in the quality of the tools we use to address it.
La siguiente. Es un honor compartir este espacio académico. Agradezco la invitación y a la organización IAMPE y a la Universidad Bayan para reflexionar sobre un tema fundamental. Este es la construcción de sociedades más justas y pacíficas. Las herramientas académicas en la mediación. La mediación, lejos de ser una técnica alternativa de resolución de conflictos, constituye hoy una disciplina compleja que integra directamente elementos jurídicos, psicológicos, emocionales y comunicacionales. También por ello el mediador moderno no solo necesita habilidades y prácticas, sino también una sólida base académica que permite intervenir de manera estratégica y efectiva.
It's an honor to share this academic space. I think that IAMPE organization and Bayan University for the invitation to reflect on fundamental topic in the construction of more and just peaceful societies, strategic academic tools in mediation. Mediation, far from being a merely an alternative conflict resolution technique, it's today a complex discipline that integrates legal, psychological, communicational, and social elements. For this reason, the modern mediator needs not only practical skills, but also a solid academic foundation that enables them to intervene strategically, ethically, and effectively.
La siguiente. Hablar de mediación y diplomacia en el siglo XXI implica comprender que ya no basta directamente la impresión o la experiencia empírica. Hoy la resolución de conflictos exige directamente un tema del rigor académico, el pensamiento estratégico y sobre todo, una integración efectiva de las herramientas metodológicas y tecnológicas.
Discussing mediation and diplomacy in the 21st century requires an understanding the intuition and of empirical experience alone is not longer sufficient. Today, the conflict resolution demands academic rigor, strategic thinking, and the effective integration of methodological and technological tools.
La mediación como un método alternativo de resolución de conflictos y sobre todo la diplomacia como un mecanismo de gestión y relaciones entre actores estatales y no estatales. Comprenden en sí un elemento central que ambas buscan transformar las tensiones en oportunidades de entendimiento.
Mediation is an alternative method of conflict resolution, and diplomacy is a mechanism for management relations between actors, both state and non-state. Share a central element. Both seek to transfer tensions to opportunities for understanding ourselves.
La mediación, lejos de no ser solamente una técnica alternativa de resolución de conflictos, hoy constituye directamente una disciplina compleja que integra elementos jurídicos, psicológicos, comunicacionales y sociales.
The mediation, far from being merely an alternative conflict resolution technique, is today a complex discipline that integrates legal, psychological, and social elements for an effective communication and effective peace culture.
Para ello, el mediador moderno no solo necesita habilidades prácticas, sino también una sólida base académica que permita intervenir directamente de una manera estratégica, ética y efectiva.
For this reason, the modern mediator needs not only practical skills but also a solid academic formation to enable them to intervene in strategic, ethic, and effective conflicts.
En ese sentido, las herramientas académicas estratégicas constituyen directamente un soporte metodológico que permite a los mediadores y diplomáticos intervenir de una manera técnica, ética y eficaz.
In this sense, strategic academic tools provide the methodological and epistemological framework that allows mediators and diplomats to intervene in the technical, ethical, and effective manner.
La siguiente. ¿Qué vamos a explorar? Las herramientas académicas estratégicas en mediación. La mediación, ya lo habíamos dicho, como un método alternativo de solución de conflictos, se sustenta en el conjunto de herramientas conceptuales y metodológicas que permite comprender, abordar y transformar las controversias de una manera estructurada.
Strategic academic tools in mediation. Mediation is an alternative mechanism to conflict resolution. It's based on a set of conceptual and methodological tools that enable us to understand, address, and transform disputes in a structured manner.
Tenemos 4 herramientas que son herramienta académica de mediación, que es el análisis del conflicto, la comunicación afectiva, la negociación basada directamente en intereses y un enfoque restaurativo y una ética profesional. Herramientas estratégicas en diplomacia, que es la diplomacia efectiva para poder blando la inteligencia emocional y construir la confianza.
We have some tools can resolve the conflict. One of them is academic tools in mediation to conflict analysis, effective communication, and interest in negotiation, restorative peace, and professional ethics. The second one is strategic tools in diplomacy. This one is about preventive diplomacy, soft power, emotional intelligence, and trust building.
La siguiente. Tenemos las herramientas digitales en mediación, que son plataformas virtuales de inteligencia artificial, gestión colaborativa y la seguridad de la información. También tenemos la integración estratégica y las conclusiones, que esto está en el enfoque disciplinario, las recomendaciones formativas y la reflexión final sobre la transformación social.
In the same way, we have digital tools in mediation. For example, virtual platforms, artificial intelligence, collaborative management, and information security. Also, we have a strategic integration and conclusions, interdisciplinary approach, training recommendations, and the final reflection is the social transformation it's our achieve.
Siguiente. En primer lugar, es indispensable referirse directamente al análisis del conflicto como una herramienta fundamental.
First of all, it's essential to consider the conflict analysis. It's a fundamental tool to combat the conflict.
El análisis del conflicto no se limita directamente en la identificación de los hechos, sino en lo que implica directamente la descomposición analítica de sus elementos consultivos. Esto permite la distinción entre las posiciones y los intereses y sobre todo la identificación de actores directos e indirectos, la evaluación directamente de las dinámicas de poder estaría la comprensión del texto sociocultural en el que se desarrolla la controversia.
Conflict analysis is not limited to identify facts or identified persons. Rather, it involves an analytical breakdown of its constituent elements. This includes a lot of elements between positions, interest, and also emotions, identifying direct and indirect actors, addressing powers dynamics, and understanding the socio-cultural context in which these conflicts are happening.
Una intervención sin análisis previo, inevitable a soluciones superficiales e inestables.
An intervention without analysis inevitably leads to superficial and unsanity solutions.
En segundo lugar, se encuentra directamente la comunicación efectiva, que particularmente es la escucha activa como competencia central del mediador.
Secondly, there's an effective communication, particularly active listening, and is a core competency of the mediator.
La escucha activa transciende directamente en el acto de oír, implica procesar, interpretar, devolver el mensaje de una manera que las partes se sientan comprendidas. Esta herramienta facilita la desencalada del conflicto y genera las condiciones propicias del diálogo constructivo.
Active listening goes beyond the act of hearing. It involves processing, interpreting, and covering the message in the way that makes the parties feel understood. This tool facilitates the conflict de-escalation and creates conditions in conduct to build a dialogue.
En tercer lugar, es necesario abordar la negociación basada en intereses, desarrollada dentro del marco de la teoría y la negociación colectiva.
Third, it is necessary to address interest-based negotiation developed within the framework and collaborative negotiation process and theory.
En este enfoque propone separar a las personas del problema y centrarse netamente en los intereses subyacentes, generar las opciones de los beneficios mutuos. De una manera se desplaza el paradigma competitivo hacia un modelo cooperativo orientado en la solución sostenible.
This approach proposes separating people from the problem, focusing on underlying interest and generating mutually beneficial options. In this way, the competitive paradigm shifts toward a cooperative model oriented toward sustainable and effective solutions for the people.
En cuarto lugar, se destaca directamente el enfoque restaurativo, que introduce directamente una dimensión ética transformadora en la mediación.
Fourth, the restorative approach stands out, introducing an ethical and transformative dynamic dimension of the mediation.
Este enfoque no solamente busca resolver el conflicto, sino también reparar el daño causado, reconstruir las relaciones y establecer un tejido social. En este sentido, la mediación se convierte en un instrumento de transformación más que una simple solución.
This approach seeks not only to resolve the conflict, but also to repair the harm caused, rebuilding relationships, and restore the social fabric. In this sense, mediation becomes an instrument, the main instrument of transformation, and rather than mere resolution.
Finalmente, es indispensable considerar el pensamiento crítico y la ética profesional como ejes transversales. El mediador debe analizar la información con objetividad, evitar sesgos cognitivos y actuar bajo el principio de la imparcialidad, la confidencialidad, la responsabilidad, sobre todo la legitimidad del proceso, depende de la gran medida de la integridad del mediador.
At the end, the mediator must analyze the information objectively, avoid cognitive factors, and accordance with the principles of impartiality, confidentiality, and responsibility. The legitimacy of the mediation process depends to a large extent of the mediator's integrity.
Siguiente. Directamente las herramientas estratégicas de diplomacia. La diplomacia como práctica orientada directamente a la gestación de las relaciones entre actores y escenarios complejos comparten fundamentos de la mediación, aunque operan niveles de mayor escala como múltiples y variables.
The diplomacy as a practice focused on management relationships among actors in a complex setting shares common ground with the mediation, although it operates not a longer scale, it involves a multiple variables.
En este contexto podemos hablar acerca de la, como herramienta clave, directamente es la diplomacia preventiva, que ésta se orienta en la identificación temprana de las tensiones y la implementación de mecanismos que emiten la escalada del conflicto, y su eficacia radica directamente en la anticipación y capacidad de intervención oportuna.
In this context, one of the key tools is the preventive diplomacy. This is an aim to early identification of tensions and the implementation to mechanisms to prevent the escalation of the conflict. Its effectiveness lies the anticipation key and the capacity to timely intervention.
Otra herramienta revelante directamente es el poder blando o el soft power, entendido también como la capacidad de influir a través de una cultura, los valores, el diálogo y un lugar de coerción.
Another relevant tool is so-called soft power, understood as the ability to influence thought, culture, values, and dialogue rather than coercion.
El uso del poder blando permite también construir consensos y fortalecer relaciones basadas en la cooperación, donde la mediación adquiere un rol estratégico.
The use of soft power allows for building consequence and strategic relationships based on cooperation where mediation plays a strategic role.
Asimismo, la inteligencia emocional constituye una competencia indispensable dentro de los procesos diplomáticos.
Likewise, emotional intelligence is an indispensable skill in diplomatic process.
La gestión adecuada directamente de las emociones, tanto propias como ajenas, permite la estabilidad de los contextos de alta tensión, favoreciendo la toma de decisiones racionales y sobre todo equilibradas.
Proper management of emotions, both one's own, the thoughts, others' emotional stability, and be motion in the high tension context, fostering rational and balanced decision making, the mutual cooperation.
Finalmente, la construcción de la confianza se configura como un elemento estructural de la diplomacia. La confianza no es el resultado inmediato, sino es un proceso que se construye directamente a través de la coherencia, la transparencia, la credibilidad. Sin confianza, cualquier acuerdo carece directamente de sostenibilidad en el tiempo.
Finally, trust building is a structural element of diplomacy. Trust is not an immediate result, but a process built through consistency, honesty, and credibility. Without trust, any agreement lacks sustainability over time.
La siguiente. Las herramientas digitales en mediación contemporánea, podríamos hablar acerca de la transformación digital que ha introducido nuevas dinámicas en la gestión de conflictos, dando lugar a lo que se conoce como una resolución de disputas online.
Digital tools in contemporary mediation. The digital transformation has introduced new dynamics into conflict management, giving rise to what is known as online dispute resolution. In this context, virtual mediation platforms have expanded access to conflict resolution mechanisms, enable remote hearings, and reducing the geographic and economic barriers and difference between two or more persons or two or more countries.
La siguiente. Por otra parte, tenemos la inteligencia artificial aplicada a la mediación. Representa un campo emergente, sino también no sustituye el criterio humano, puede contribuir directamente a un análisis de patrones, la organización de la información y la optimización directamente de los procesos, integrado directamente en la eficacia de la intervención.
Furthermore, artificial intelligence applied to mediation represents an emergent field. While it does not replace the human judgment, it can contribute to pattern analysis, information organization, and process of optimization, thereby increasing the efficiency of the intervention in mediation.
La siguiente. Asimismo, la herramienta digital colaborativa como sistema de gestión en los casos documentos que son compartidos, la facilidad directamente de la transparencia y la trazabilidad de los acuerdos alcanzados.
Likewise, collaborative digital tools such as case management systems and shared documents facilitate transparency, honesty, and the traceability of agreements reached. However, the use of these tools requires rigorous attention to the security and confidentiality and the quality of information, ensuring data protection and respect for the ethical principles of mediation.
La siguiente. No obstante, el uso de estas herramientas exige directamente una atención rigurosa a la seguridad y confidencialidad de la información, garantizando asimismo la protección de datos respecto a los principios éticos de la mediación.
This is the main tool for mediation because we can protect data, we can protect all of the documents, but also we must have the obligation to protect the person and protect the deal or protect the peace culture over time.
La siguiente. Conclusión, el fundamento directamente de la profesionalización, hablaríamos en que las herramientas académicas estratégicas constituye el fundamento que permite profesionalizar la mediación, fortalecer la diplomacia como mecanismos efectivos de una gestión de conflictos.
Foundation of professionalization. In conclusion, strategic academic tools form the foundation in mediation and strategic diplomacy as an effective mechanism to conflict management. Their proper application not only improves the quality of agreements, but also contributes to the construction of more just dialogue oriented to the sustainable and stronger societies.
Su correcta aplicación no solo mejora la calidad de los acuerdos, sino que constituye o contribuye directamente a la construcción de una sociedad más justa, dialogante y sostenible.
This is the main key to protect and to build a more stronger and honestly society with the main idea to peace culture.
La mediación y la diplomacia, entendidas desde la perspectiva, transcienden directamente a su función operativa y a convertirse directamente en instrumentos de una transformación social.
Mediation and diplomacy, understood from the perspective, transcend the operational function to become instruments for the social transformation.
La formación interdisciplinada se recomienda y fortalece los procesos de la formación y mediación y diplomacia mediante los enfoques interdisciplinarios que integran directamente la teoría, la práctica y sobre todo la tecnología.
It's recommended to strengthen training process to mediation and diplomacy through interdisciplinary approaches that integrate theory, practice, technology, and peace.
Como competencias para el futuro, podemos decir que asimismo es fundamental promover el desarrollo de las competencias digitales y éticas que permiten responder a los desafíos contemporáneos sobre la gestión de los conflictos.
Skills for the future. Likewise, it's an essential to promote and develop the digital and ethical skills that enable us to respond to the contemporary challenges in conflict management.
La siguiente. Y para finalizar, quiero dejar una reflexión final que dice que la paz no es la ausencia del conflicto, sino la capacidad estructurada y consciente de gestionarlo con la inteligencia, sobre todo humanidad y una ética.
With my final reflection with this presentation is the peace is not the absence of conflict, but the structural and conscious capacity to manage it with the intelligence, ethics, emotion, peace, and humanity. Thank you very much for your attention.
Oh, gracias, gracias, muchas gracias, Araceli. I think the all questions are at the end after our panel was finished. Okay, so if you will leave somehow, if you have something to do, don't worry. All questions I will send by email. Thank you very much, Araceli. So, and we are moving to the next, our distinguished speaker. But before I will introduce, I will just spell it correctly. I do believe I will do it correct. O conocimiento gana valor cuando serve a sociedade. I think I did it correct in Portuguese, in the Brazilian way. So this principle of this quotes reflects that knowledge gains value when it serves society. And there is a legal scholarship, international cooperation, and addressing contemporary global challenges. It's my honor to introduce our next speaker, Professor Dr. Dailton Ribeiro, Brazil. I think I'm spelling correct. Brazil.
Very well.
Gracias. Brazil, Brazilian professor, a legal scholar, and international speaker whose work focuses on international law, constitutional law, governance, and contemporary legal studies. Through his academic research and international engagement, he contributes to discussion on law diplomacy, democratic governance, and the global institution development. Please join me in a warm welcome, Professor Dr. Dailton Ribeiro, Brazil. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to give my heartfelt thanks for the kind invitation. So thank you, Dr. Christine, and also Dr. Araceli from Ecuador for the very kind invitation, and also for the organizers and to Bayan University. This is my very first time. I'm very honored and very pleased. I have a PowerPoint to share. I think I will try to make it possible.
Yes, you have
okay,
access,
I'll
Professor.
try. Tell me if possible. It's visible.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Well, as I said, Ribeiro, Brazil, I am a professor at the University of Itaúna in Brazil, South America. It's in the southwest part of Brazil that we call Minas Gerais in Brazil. And my topic today, it will be about international law, academic diplomacy, and education for peace building. And as my belief, I believe that I am a bridge builder. We need what we are doing now, universities, institutions, to build bridges, not walls, between the cultures, It's very important. And also dialogue. We need to talk. We need to dialogue, because that's what our world needs. Well, so to start my presentation, I would say that an introduction that building peace through norms, knowledge, and dialogue. The three words are very important. I wanted to pinpoint norms, knowledge, and dialogue. And peace building is not limited to ending violence or managing political disputes, because it requires the construction of trust. It's very important. I had here for my previous speakers this word, trust. We need trust, justice, institutional legitimacy, and respect. Above all, respect for human dignity. And the continuing, international law provides the normative language for peaceful coexistence among states and peoples. And academic diplomacy transforms universities into spaces of dialogue, cooperation, and mutual understanding. And that's all we want. And I believe that universities has a special role for this space of dialogue. And education prepares individuals and communities to reject violence, recognize diversity, and participate in democratic life. And the central argument is that sustainable peace depends on the interaction between law, knowledge, and education. It's very important because the bridges are built under law, knowledge, and education. And my central thesis in my speech, it's about peace building beyond the absence of war. Because peace cannot be reduced to the suspension of armed conflict. We need to do more, to be more than a suspension of armed conflict. As sustainable peace requires justice, inclusion, human dignity, and institutional legitimacy. And legal norms are essential, but they must be translated into social practices. And that's here the professors, the universities are necessary. While education and academic cooperation help transform conflict into dialogue. And peace building is both a legal project and a cultural process. And now, talking more specific, the legal architecture of peace. International law establishes common principles for relations among states and people. It limits the arbitrary use of power and promotes peaceful dispute resolution. And also, it affirms that the dignity of the human person as a foundation of the international order. That's what we need to highlight, because I think the world has forgotten, because it's important to keep and maintain the dignity of the human person. And the world, the states, the countries need an international order based on law, justice. It connects, and because that's why it connects peace, security, human rights, and international cooperation. And it also provides legitimacy for mediation, reconstruction, and institutional reform. Well, now another issue that is about academic diplomacy, and it is related to us because knowledge is an instrument of international cooperation to share our knowledge, to share our experiences. It's very important. And we have the new technologies that makes the possibility. We are here due to the new technologies to talk with each other. And we have to know the other, the unknown. We have to know, we have to have interest to know the other culture, the other country, how they think, how they act. Because if you understand, the dialogue is more possible. And the universities can maintain cooperation even when political relations are tense. Research networks create channels of trust across borders. And conferences like this one, exchanges and joint projects encourage mutual understanding. And academic diplomacy transforms knowledge into a practical tool for peace building. Well, now specific talking about universities as peace building institutions. Well, from knowledge production to social responsibility, universities train future lawyers, teachers, diplomats, mediators, and the public leaders. It was said before by our previous speakers. It's very important. That's the role of the university. And I believe in this role of university because it's only education that can make the human being do his own evolution, because everyone seeks happiness, well-being, to live well, to live in peace. That's what we wish. And they produce universities, research on human rights, conflict prevention. Here in the University of Itaúna, I have a colleague that has a discipline specific about conflicts, armed conflicts, and prevention of these conflicts, governance and development. Well, continue, they help society to interpret complex problems through evidence and critical reflection. We have to have critical reflection of everything, every news that we receive. and they may serve as neutral spaces for intercultural and interdisciplinary dialogue. And also, education for peace building, I would say this phrase because it's very important: learning to live together. We have to learn to live together and in peace, with dialogue, with mutual understanding. Peace education develops empathy, responsibility, and respect for diversity. Brazil is a very multicultural and multiracial country. And the foundation of our our federal constitution is the mutual understanding of different social classes and the mutual help. Well, it teaches students to identify the causes and the consequences of violence. And also, education promotes non-violent communication, democratic participation, and ethical judgment. And it prepares citizens to resist intolerance, extremism, and misinformation. Well, now I would turn for another phrase that I wanted to highlight. It's that about transforming conflict into communication. And mediation does not deny conflict. It organizes conflict through dialogue. And dialogue requires listening. It's very important to listen, recognition, and respect for different identities. It's the key words here. And academic institutions can train mediators and create spaces for restorative communication. And Dr. Aracela talked about restorative justice. It's very important, and it means restorative communication. And mediation strengthens trust. It's important, trust, social cohesion, and institutional legitimacy. And continue for regional cooperation, I would pinpoint shared problems, shared responsibilities, and conflicts and social tensions often have regional and transnational dimensions. Regional cooperation can address migration. It's everywhere because it's the nature of the human being, migration, education, security, development, and human rights. And universities, again, I call the universities, may form regional networks for research, mediation, and peace education. Academic forums help create common agendas and practical partnerships. Peace building becomes stronger when local realities are connected to international cooperation. And for my final reflections, I would return for law, knowledge, and dialogue for a culture of peace. I myself, I am a professor in law. For generations, lawyers has been educated or prepared for the conflict between the parties. But now it's changing because lawyers can also contribute for the culture of peace and solve the conflicts between citizens in another way that can use mediation. It's a very good example what the new role of lawyers they can do, not only in the audience, but also making this contribution. And international law, by its way, provides normative structure for peace. In my opinion, countries have been forgotten that we have international laws, we have norms to obey, to follow, and not to do what your country wants to do, because we have to have a behavior for these laws. We are civilized countries. And international law, as I said, provides normative structure for peace. Academic diplomacy builds bridges where politics may create distance sometimes, but education forms citizens capable of dialogue, tolerance, and responsibility. It's very important. And peace building requires institutions, but also memory. We have to have memory of our past, culture, and ethical commitment. Because peace is built through law, not by cannons, not by arms. Peace is built through law, sustained by education, and strengthened by dialogue. Well, I would like to say many thanks. Here you have my address. And this subject, this issue is very interesting, and I got enthusiastic talking about this, and we can continue to talk in another opportunities. Every time if I shall be invited, I will come with pleasure, because we need to strengthen our cultures, our countries, and make this world better for us, for our sons and grandsons. We have to deliver them a better country than nowadays. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, dear professor. And you are anyway invited already, so I'm just answering.
I will come with pleasure.
And I want to just simply close with my remarks. You remind me Seneca, the words exactly about the education, diplomacy, and education. We need to teach the students what will be useful for them in their lives. And the concluding with the letters of Lucilius, I love this, a famous one. While we teach, we learn. So this is how we have spent all the time. And thank you very much. Gracias. Ay, muchas gracias. And see you next our forum or conference, and I do believe in person as well.
Yes.
So, and I'll smoothly move from Brazil to Peru, even though our Peruvian distinguished professor and speaker, originally he's half Japanese. I will start smoothly. Heto no atataka saba fuyo mokoero. I'm spelling correct. Japanese wisdom reflects the essence of the peaceful dialogue. Japanese culture, where you first mediate and after meditate and after mediate, but they're trying to don't come too closer to the conflict. They speak slowly. They even have they have a bread or the breakfast. So this is art of the Japanese culture. Everywhere you find their culture in it. Mutual respect, constructive communication, the values that remain central to mediation and the conflict resolution. And our next speaker is Professor Freddy Nishihara, Ortiz Nishihara, Peruvian Japanese lawyer, professor of law and peace, conciliator, specialist in alternative dispute resolution with more than 20 years of professional experience. He is a director of the APDIUI Conciliation and Arbitration Center and Sensei Nishihara Training Center for Extrajudicial Conciliation. His professional and academic work, he actively promotes access to the justice, peaceful conflict resolution, and legal education at national and international level. And I'm happy to introduce that he's the IAMPE honorary member as well. Please join me in warmly welcome Freddy Ortiz Nishihara.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really very good, very nice. I want to greet to everyone around the globe. I was very surprised because the order has been changed. I was supposed to be after the next speaker, but I'm here, and I thank you very much by this. And I want to speak on peace relating this to the actual phenomenon of crisis around the world. Really, we can see that in the world happens many genocides, many crimes, and the human is not speaking. The human is not using the reason for to solve these conflicts. We can see a failed scan of negotiation. That is not good, and that is really destructive of the war. I want to share, please, I want to share my presentation. I can do, I'm going to share now. Yes, I was so surprised that I was, as I told you, because I suppose
You are
that
surprised at how we speak in Japanese? I
Japanese,
train it
thank you
all
very
night.
much. はい。私は本当に心から皆さん言ってる、どうもありがとうございました。
Arigato, arigato.
はい。でもこれがちょっと大変ですけど、私は時間いないですけど、ちょっと待ってください。私は今、make presentation. I'm going to make the presentation. Yes, but this works. This works. Stop share. I'm going to make a accommodation because my presentation must be ready for to do this. Just excuse me so much. Now I suppose that I can make a presentation, but you can see my presentation.
Unfortunately not, Professor.
Share. Just because this is just you can see my presentation.
No.
No, this is Just excuse me because I suppose I was to
Okay.
make a presentation on Facebook. Presence arrive. Share.
Yes, you are sharing now. I think we will.
Yes,
Okay. Yes,
I want to
we
make a
see.
complete presentation. By that, I must to try to present all.
It's okay. We see.
Just
It's
share, of course. So all the things was presentation was in this case here. Share. I don't know. I can't send you my presentation because I can do the presentation. She's here. She's
we
here.
can. You can share with us, but you can start to speak. It's no problem.
I
We
wanted to speak with my presentation because it was very necessary for me. Because as I told you
uh,
before, I was
as you
programmed
share it,
for to
as you
speak
share
before
it.
another person, and I was surprised by this situation. By that,
Okay, as you share it, it's okay as well, dear professor. We can see.
yes, yes, yes. Sure, excuse me.
It's okay.
Now you can see the presentation
Not yet. You didn't share it yet?
because this is a kind of problem with the technologies. I must to. It's not here. Now you can hear?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes, we
I'm going
can.
to start speaking. First
Perfect.
of all, I excuse myself because I don't manage very well these kind of new technologies, and sometimes it's very hard for me. And I have glaucoma in both of my eyes. Excuse me so much. Well, I want to thank you very much by this invitation for to make this presentation on mediation, diplomacy, and education to the University of Bayan in Iraq. And I want to thank you to our leadership, Christina Arsumanova, from our group, which is inviting me for to make this good presentation. I want to share first all the material that I have brought here. Well, this is not, and this is not the material. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I will speak only with my words and with my heart because you have surprised me. I had three persons before me, and I don't know, I wasn't prepared for this. I'm going to try to speak with my heart or with my mind. First of all,
Sorry
I
for
want to thank
interrupting
you
you,
all of
Doctor.
you. I was
Sorry for
prepared with a
interrupting
very
you. Hello.
yes.
Sorry, but I saw there was one tab open and it was your presentation. If you click on it, we can see. I just saw on your webpage. The Facebook page was open, but the tab above, the third one was your presentation. Sorry again for
Yes,
interrupting.
yes, I know, but this is another kind of presentation. Well, I want to speak. You were the person who was supposed to speak before me. You were the person who was supposed to speak before me.
Previously, it was no. It was professor from Brazil, doctor.
There were two persons before me. Well, without presentation, I am going to speak since please I'm going to put myself for to speak. Yes. First of all, I want to remember to that sometimes somebody said the only thing we doesn't change is the change in self, because every day of our lives the change is the only constant thing which is going to keep on moving, because the other things, but you don't show me in the why I'm not, you are in the, in the I'm not speaking and must to put myself in this way. Yes, I want to tell you that sometimes said many years ago, the only thing permanent is the change. The change is always in the human being, in all the relations, in all the systems of human states. By that, the technologies and all the systems have changed many ways of being for the human, for the persons. Now we have many conflicts around the world, and the people think, how can we solve these conflicts? Only changing the systems of technology? Not. Because with AI, intelligence, artificial intelligence, we can change the systems. We need to see the real systems and the intercultural relations that exists today between peoples and persons inside modern societies, because the modern societies are not equal than we had before. I suppose that the human beings should have changed their ways for to solve the conflicts, and mostly something similarity between who rules the world and who tries to learn from those who rules the world. Because if we speak only of peace culture with the mouse in meetings, only speaking to others, that doesn't mean a real change of mind. That doesn't represent an advance. That doesn't represent that the world is changing. We can speak of technologies, new technologies that can be used for the new systems of negotiation. That is good. The systems may help. It's okay. The systems may help, but it's inside the development of the human being, of the person, which is the real key for to improve the new systems on mediation, the new systems of management of conflicts. Because if we try to believe that only with technological advances the human being can improve the systems of negotiation, we commit a mistake, because we must to start saying, as a famous thinker said many years ago, the person, the human being, has came since the since the monkey times, through a bridge to the human being, the evolution process, since the monkey to the human being. This is the first bridge. As Nietzsche, the famous thinker, said in a book many years ago, this first bridge has been crossed by the humanity since monkey to human being. The next bridge is to cross to the superhuman being. This means not stature, skin, color of skin, or language. This means to be more empathetic, to be more simple, to be more human, to practice values. But this real basis for the change of the systems of communication is not real in these times, because if you can see in the news, if you can watch in the news, the breach shows that the force is used as the main tool for to try to impose a solution for a conflict. You can watch. Maybe we are speaking with many theories, maybe we are speaking with many ideas, but we must to watch and discover the relationship which exists between children, societies, and adults doing things. In the meantime, we divorce these two groups. We separate the children culture, teaching them for to be better human being, for to show humanity, for to try to understand the others and to treat the others as they would treat him. In this way, we are not speaking about a change. We are speaking only words, because artificial intelligence can be a tool. It's good. I agree with that. Can be a tool. We have many systems, system of administration, which says that the human being and the good relations and communications between persons are very nice, very good. We must respect the others, but that is in theory. We can see what we can see in practice. In practice, we can see that it's not doing reality, the reality, today reality, because the powers of the world, especially in the West, and I don't fear about this situation. I don't fear, because I have been a fighter defending human rights for more than 40 years. And I have suffered a lot of persecution, a lot of punishment for to speak in this way, because the real defender of peace culture practice not only rights, not only speak in forums like this, and the real change is to change the thinking, to think the many ideas that the human has, and to put these ideas in practice. By that, I suppose that almost all the times, Machiavellus, the famous thinker of an ancient time, is still alive in these days. You can get the things and don't mind how do you get the things that is real today. The end justifies the means. The end justifies the means. That is sometimes which I reject as a real practitioner of the peace, a real person who tries to manage the system's resolution conflicts in a sincere way, because if we speak as Israel or the United States or many countries of Europe, that they are practicing the peace of culture, of good negotiation, don't respect the rules of a good mediation, because when they get and sit with the others in a table of mediation, they are only thinking about how to try to hide their real image about the solution of conflict. And many times, if we continue watching this kind of scenario where the persons go to only try to show a false image or negotiation, we are not going to get nothing, because this doesn't mean nothing for the real peace. These advances, these systems, new systems for to try to mediate or to try to negotiate, try to to one mediator, as was in a real and concrete case, first Qatar, second Pakistan, and you don't go with the real intention, you don't use the real and good tools for to solve the conflicts, we are showing that in reality, sincerity, you don't want to solve the conflict. You only want to try to fake. You only want to try to show a false solution, a false image, but it's not real. That is which is happening today. I have learned many things about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Yes, the artificial intelligence can guide you, can give you some ways for to try to get better results in a negotiation. It's an advance. Yes, I recognize it's an advance. But what about the real situation if you don't think inside yourself to try to improve the systems for to get a very good negotiation? What is the relation between a person who gets to the power and doesn't have a relation with some citizen, with some people, with their own children? Is that a very good example for to get new and good educative systems? I really believe that is not true. That is not sincere, because they are inventing ways for to say that they are improving negotiation with intelligence, artificial intelligence, but that is not real. And they are playing with the people of around the world. But that, when I came to this seminar, this event, I was very worried about my words, because this phenomenon is not only interrelations between two or three countries, it's inside the country, it's inside a nation, because there are groups who speak of democracy. In my country, for example, and I know that they are going to try to improve their system of persecution against me. They have made it during more than 30 years, but I don't fear. I don't fear about that. If I say that I've told the truth, I don't fear about the consequences, because they don't do the things correctly. They are not managing or improving the systems of mediation using good technologies. They only show the technology as a machine, as the development of a good machine which improves their thinkings, only their thinkings. But we don't see the practice that the new systems benefit to most of the populations in my country or in other countries of Latin America. They use these systems for to try to get their own goals. Their own goals. The system says, I want to take most of the money of this person, of these people, of this country, and I want to speak very nice, very good, very pretty, and I can win. I can win because the person believes that I am a democracy, that I am a democrat, that I am a good person, that I can show very good style of conversation, talking, yes, in meetings around all the country, but inside them the politicals, the politics, and the enterprises, the companies, which we have here. Many of them have its brands in Europe and in the United States. Don't make very good negotiation with the countries. because the negotiation is in this way, distributive way. Outside countries and outside companies win, but you, as always, must to lose the population, the native population, the native country must to lose because we distribute. For me, the win, and for you, the lose. That is which is happening. If we have fails mediators, fails negotiators, really we can see an image which is not improving the reason for to improve the systems of mediation, the system of negotiation. We are trying to get a real peace between two parties, a real peace, not a peace of this way, where one wins and the other must to lose, not nationally. This is not good because this creates more poor people. We have having many resources, economic resources, since more than 500 years ago, since ancient times of the Inca empires, a lot of richness, a lot of resources. But you can ask here, and you can watch the newspapers, read the newspapers, and watch the news, and what you can see that 40% and or 50% of the population is poor, is very poor. What does it mean? Where are the resources? Where is the good negotiation system? Where is the good mediation role that the government must to play with the foreign companies, with the foreign enterprises? We can see which is not doing the correct. We can see that our briberies, there are briberies that the governments charge to these companies. And this doesn't improve the real system of peace. They want peace, they say we are democrats, we want real peace. But if you don't get a good system of negotiation, which is direct to real peace, to improve the real system of living, standard of living, quality of living of the population. And you have, as in the ancient times of the colony with the Spaniards, worse systems of domination, more people who is poor and malnutrition, and you have disease, a lot of people with many poor conditions, in many poor conditions, with many situations which are not correct, don't have housing, don't have good schools, don't have good hospitals. We ask ourselves, where did the good negotiation goal is? Did we get a good negotiation system inside our country? Or maybe I'm speaking of Ecuador too, or maybe I'm speaking on Argentina, which has changed its government. In those countries, we can see a distributive system of negotiation, and the authorities and the politics say, we are improving the systems of mediation, negotiation. We have better standards and standards of life for all the populations. But if you go to the highlands, to the mountains, you can see in the mountains, in the poor departments of this country, that there, this 30 or 40% of people who is poor is increasingly no, it's not as in the capital city or the main cities. You can see in these left abandoned, left behind department zones that the poor people is around 70% and still 80%. But you ask yourself, why? If they have the gold, if they have the copper, if they have all the mineral sources to improve their lives? Where is the good system of negotiation in this country or in Ecuador or in Paraguay or in Argentina? Maybe it's starting, or she was with this system before.
Dear Professor, I'm
That
really
is
sorry.
very, very sorry. We need to think about the new systems of mediation. We finally want to thank you by the invitation. It was very important for me to show the reality, but in the end, the negotiation was to do horizontally between two countries, between two groups which are trying to improve their points of view of negotiation. The artificial intelligence is not the solution. And excuse me if I don't have a presentation because I have glaucoma. One of these eyes has a bullet inside here, a bullet which was fired by the police when I was 18, no, 23 years old. I was 23 years old. Until now, they can make a surgery to take off this bullet inside, this little piece of bullet here in my eye. Now I continue fighting. But I thank you very much about this opportunity to show what should mean the new kind of negotiation, the modern system of negotiation for the future.
Thank you
Because
very much. Thank you very much.
with technology, we don't have nothing. And I thank you very much. 本当に心からどうもありがとうございました。皆さん、よろしくお願いします。平和は一番大切なのことですけど、でも私欲しい本当の平和の、その平和いらない。わかる？それは一番大切なのこと。本当の平和を欲しい。どうもありがとうございました。どうもすみませんね。ごめんなさい。
Arigato. Gracias. Gracias. Thank you very much, Professor. And we are moving from Peru. Guess where? I think to the MENA region. And I'm really happy to introduce our next speaker. I will just, it's not easy to speak in Arabic, but I will just try my best. Alalat Asas Alis Tekrar is like justice is the foundation of the stability. Our next speaker is a judge, Dr. Muataz Abu Zayed. I think you guessed where we moved. We moved to the MENA region, one of the huge country, Egypt. And the judge, Dr. Muataz, he's a legal advisor, judicial professional, constitutional law expert with extensive experience in legal affairs, public international relations, dispute resolution, compliance, investigation, and the criminal and administrative law. His work focuses on constitutional law, human rights, and I don't know if I investigated correct parliamentary diplomacy, and he's published numerous legal research and academic papers in comparative law and constitutional studies. Please join me in a warm welcome, Dr. Judge Muataz Abu Zayed.
Good afternoon. As we are here in Egypt, the end of the day now, and of course, your introduction, Ms. Christine, is so appreciated, and on the same way, you gave all of us our salute with language, and according to this, I must say Pariv with Armenian language.
Merci.
And firstly, I must thank Bayan University in Iraq for this invitation and participation in this great webinar, and of course also the IAMPE Association for International Mediation. I really have an honor to give a speech today in this meeting, and of course the last one to speak had a great obligation that he must be very interesting and he must not talk a lot. So I will concentrate my speech in very specific 3 direct questions: why, how, and who. If we are talking about mediation as a way for international diplomacy, as it mostly used in the international law rules, and of course when it's used in a domestic way or locally for dispute resolution inside the same legal system, of course we need to know what is the simplest definition for mediation that can constitute a certain way of dispute resolution or even achieving a new way in diplomacy. Very simple definitions that we can talk about mediation. It is the way that you can make the available possible, or how to use the tools in your hand to reach a solution, or even to choose a way to reach this solution, to gain more steps for a new level of mediation, which can convert impossible to possible way. So you begin firstly to have your available tools to make the possible. Then according to this, or according to the success in the first step, the second step, you can change impossible to possible solutions or to possible ways. So according to this definition, it must be clear that mediation is a tool, is a mean, it's not a target. So we can use this mean or use this tool to achieve the international diplomacy, if we are talking about international law, or even dispute resolution if we are talking about internal laws. So according to this definition, we have put our legs on the common ground that all we can agree that this is the definition and this is the target of this step, which we call mediation. So why we choose mediation to make it our tool for diplomacy? The first thing, it's a very old way for communication, for dialogue, for dispute resolution. Of course, many ways like arbitration, like mediation, like conciliation was founded before the invention of the judicial legal systems in its modern topic or in its modern figure nowadays. Before these legal systems or before these new judicial systems, many families, many communities in old ages depended on respectable people. People have good reputation to solve resolution according to the ways of mediation or conciliation or arbitration. So it is a very, very old, admitted and accepted way to solve resolution or to build the peace relation between parties. The second reason, the modern topics or the modern trends and disputes imposes that we must use new types or new ways of dispute resolution, as we are not all the same legal system. We are not all the same law. We are not all the same constitution. So we must look for a certain dispute or resolution system we can all gather around and we can all accept. On the other hand, the new laws that can be modernized or can be issued in many parliaments all over the world permit a new space or a large space for alternative way of dispute resolution, like arbitration, like mediation, and like conciliation. And this must be seized to enlarge the role of mediation as a way of dispute resolution, as if the law permits this. And of course, if the law permits this, it can be welcomed from people, from judges, from courts. So it will have its place as a way for dispute resolution. The last reason that we can express for why we choose mediation is the acceptability at the people, according to the opinion or the decision that this process or this mediation or this dialogue ends or terminates to, so we can accept this solution. This proof the success of this way to solve disputes or to reach the process of building peace. So another question, or the second question, how we can do this? No doubt according to the presence of mediation in the modern times, which is times of interdisciplinary sciences, new connections and new cooperation between many fields like administrative sciences, legal sciences, and of course international law, and we can put on all of this the talents and the negotiable skills of the mediator, so we can invent a new science that can be accepted as a way or as a new path to learn people or to educate people what is negotiations and what its role for international diplomacy and peace building. So the first way that we can consider mediation is a way or a new bridge to connect many sciences together. The second way, it's a very flexible tool that we can use for dispute resolution, even internally or outside country in the international society. It's accepted by many countries. It can be applied in many legal systems. It can be practiced by many people, judges, or even people outside the legal field. So it will be very impressive. It will be very effective for its role that we can use it. So another way that we can apply mediation in international diplomacy, that it can be used even there is no conflict, even there is no war, even there is no problem or dispute we need to solve. We can use mediation, or we can use the dialogue just to make the opinion nearer, or to find a new ground or a common ground to step on, even there is no conflict or there is no dispute. So who can achieve this, which is the last question? Who can achieve this effective rule of mediation? Of course, it's a very traditional figure that we all drew in our minds, that judges can do this, or people who know law can do this. And of course, this side or this figure must be changed, or must be or must have a new modern vision, that even we are talking about a new science, or even we are talking about a new intersection between many sciences, but we cannot deny that the mediation process depends on the mediation and negotiation skills of the mediator. And of course, these things cannot be sometimes taught or cannot be educated in a direct way. So according to this, we can have a help or an aid from outside the legal field, from people that can negotiate, from people that can make mediation, even they are not lawyers, even they are not judges. We can choose the law that we can apply, or we can choose that we can solve this dispute outside the field of law, with customs, with traditions, with religion, maybe. So according to this flexibility of mediation, and according to this flexibility of the role of the mediator, so it cannot be exclusive for lawyers or for judges, or to be proceeded in courts. So according to these three questions, why we can choose mediation, how we can achieve the process effectively, and who can do this, I think we can draw a certain image to the real rule of this process, and we can make it in an accepted way all over many legal systems, and accepted even by governments and individuals as well. Sorry if I talked a lot, but thank you for this webinar, and hope it will be effective and successful.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muataz. I think it was nice conclusion. You just concluded shortly. It's like I said, I like us to sometimes to veni vidi vici. You came, you concur, and you just finalized everything. Dr. Mahdi, representative of Bayan University, because I don't see the president is left.
Yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he has he has important
Yes.
thing. It was urgent. That's why he left. Sorry.
Yes, we need to conclude the forum. So
Sure.
would like me, I will take the floor, and after you will continue.
Pardon me, can you come again?
because we need to conclude.
Yes.
You stay as a representative of Bayan University.
Of
So
course.
we need to conclude our forum and say thank you to all our colleagues and the guests. So if you never mind, I'm keeping balance. Can I start and you can just continue?
Sure.
Thank you very much. So, distinguished guests, I just bombarded you with my knowledge. Somehow I study different languages, but I tried my best in order to do it correctly. Well, I want to say thank you, Elahan. She is here. She helped me too much last night. Distinguished guests, speakers, participants, and dear colleagues, as we are concluding this forum, it was an amazing, really. I felt each of you. I would like to express sincere gratitude to everyone who joined us in this spirit of dialogue, cooperation, and peaceful engagement. Today, we once again provide that the mediation, diplomacy, and education itself are not only professional tools, but essential bridges between cultures, institutions, and nations. Every meaningful discussion begins with education, mutual understanding, and the willingness to listen. We believe that the future of the global cooperation depends on the preparation of new generation capable for resolving dispute resolution conflicts through dialogue rather than division. I do believe you agree with me. This is why regional international education initiatives like this one in diplomatic mediation and education and more and legal are becoming increasingly important. On behalf of IAMPE, I will say on behalf of IAMPE, I thank you for your professionalism, your ideas, your passion, your commitment to peace building, and your presence today, and really important and international cooperation within it. And let this forum become not the end, we just start of a discussion, but the beginning of the stronger collaboration and the future initiative together. And I do believe it will be not virtually and in person. We can see each other, feel each other, and share our culture. Thank you very much. Dr. Mahdi, stage is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Christine, President of IAMPE. You did a very great job. I really appreciate that. On behalf of Bayan University President and teachers, students, everyone, I would really like to say thank you to you and to all participants, speakers especially. Your speech, I learned a lot. Actually, we hear many new things, new ideas, new like collaborations that they offered already. As Bayan University, whenever you need us, I mean, all of you, we are ready to collaborate. Even we can grow these kind of forum to a conference wherever you like. The Kurdistan is open for you. Erbil city, we are welcome. All of you in Erbil, if you're interested, we can do a bigger thing in Erbil. We can do a conference in one of our famous, most fabulous places here. Also, we can be joining you whenever in the world you suggested in person. Also, we are ready to collaborate to maintain peace and security and to enhance the new ideas of diplomacy, mediation in the world in order to have better world, better ideas, better people, better life. So thank you again for all of you, especially speakers and the others who they are very patient. They stayed with us in these long, since 4 p.m. till now. Thank you for being with us. It's a great honor and pleasure. We are already here whenever you need us, Christine and speakers and everyone. You can have my contact number, email, all social account, and whatever is needed by our side, we are ready to do it. I can't say any more greetings and thanks. It was a really pleasure having you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahdi. Shortly, precisely, as always, and directly. So thank you very much, all of you, and see you soon, because we are moving. We already have invitation. We are going to Erbil, as I understood. So
100%, 100%. It's
so
an
I
honor.
yes, I just smoothly moved to Erbil from Egypt. So we are moving to Erbil.
Sure.
Warm welcomes. Thank you very much. We will think about that, but after Armenia, please.
Sure.
So after Armenia, we can come to Erbil.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, all of you, and see you soon.
See you soon. Have a great evening, everyone.
Have a great evening.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Bye.